Welcome to Goddesses. I'm your host, Blair Minerva. Today on Goddesses, imagine being thrust from a normal life into the center of a national movement, facing death threats and political gridlock, all while grappling with unimaginable grief. Today, we uncover how Emma González transformed personal trauma into a powerful voice, and what surprising event almost made her give up completely. What if the very system you're fighting against becomes your greatest obstacle, and how can you find the strength to persevere when hope seems lost? 6 minutes and 20 seconds of silence can feel like an eternity. Now imagine standing before a crowd of nearly 1 million people, holding that silence while tears stream down your face. This was Emma González, barely 18 years old, commanding the attention of the world not with words, but with their absence. How does a shy teenager transform into someone capable of wielding silence as a weapon for change? The answer begins with gunfire. The morning of February 14, 2018 dawned like any other at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Students clutched Valentine cards and planned weekend dates. Emma sat in class, doodling rocket ships in her notebook margins. Then the first shots rang out. The sound of laughter morphed into screams. 17 lives would end that day. For Emma, it marked the beginning of something else entirely. You might think you know this story. Another American school shooting, another cycle of thoughts and prayers. But what happened next shattered that familiar pattern. Within 3 days, a trembling voice would rise from the trauma to declare, "We call BS," on a system that had failed its children. That voice belonged to Emma González. Before becoming the face of a movement, Emma was an unlikely activist. The daughter of Cuban immigrants, she preferred studying the cosmos to politics. Her passion for space exploration manifested in detailed rocket drawings and endless questions about the universe. In the halls of Marjory Stoneman Douglas, she was known for leading the Gay-Straight Alliance and diving deep into science projects. Public speaking, that made her hands shake. But trauma has a way of reshaping us. When Emma stood at that first rally in Fort Lauderdale, just days after watching her classmates die, something fundamental had shifted. The shy student who once struggled to present class projects now faced a sea of cameras. The spotlight found Emma instantly. Her shaved head and fierce determination became symbols of youth resistance. But with visibility came vitriol. Death threats filled her inbox. Critics called her a crisis actor, a puppet, an attention seeker. You might wonder what keeps someone going in the face of such hatred. For Emma, the answer lay in those 6 minutes and 20 seconds when she and her classmates hid from a gunman. In the sound of shots echoing through hallways meant for learning. In the faces of 17 people who would never speak again. The movement grew like wildfire. Emma and her fellow survivors channeled their grief into action, organizing what would become one of the largest youth protests in American history. Picture yourself at 18, coordinating buses, permits, security, handling international media while still struggling to sleep through the night. This wasn't just about gun control anymore. It was about proving that young voices deserve to be heard, that tragedy can birth transformation. If you're enjoying Goddesses, please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code for our free 7-day email course, Be an Unstoppable Woman. Lead without apology using quiet power tactics from influential females like Oprah, Malala, and RBG. Now, back to the episode. On March 24, 2018, Emma stood before hundreds of thousands in Washington, D.C. She listed the names of her fallen classmates, then fell silent. For exactly 6 minutes and 20 seconds, the time it took the shooter to destroy 17 lives, she said nothing. The crowd grew restless, then understanding dawned. This wasn't a technical difficulty. This was a demonstration of loss. Some began to cry, Others joined her silent vigil. Time stretched like taffy, each second a reminder of lives cut short. The movement gained momentum, but change proved maddeningly slow. Legislative victories came in small increments. Emma and her fellow activists faced a harsh reality. Systemic change requires more than passion. It demands persistence in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. You might think this would break their spirit. Instead, it forged something stronger. When critics claimed teenagers couldn't understand complex policy, Emma and her peers dove deeper into research. When politicians dismissed them as naive, they registered voters. Every obstacle became a lesson in strategic activism. Few understand the toll of becoming a symbol. Emma's life transformed overnight from typical teenager to public figure. Trauma doesn't pause for interviews or speaking engagements. PTSD doesn't care about rally schedules. Between organizing protests and advocating for change, she still had to graduate high school, still had to walk the same halls where her friends died. The movement faced internal struggles too. Debates over strategy created friction. Some wanted more aggressive tactics, others favored working within the system. Emma learned that leading a movement means navigating not just external opposition, but internal discord. Unity, it turns out, requires as much work as activism. Today, over 300 gun safety laws exist because Emma and her fellow survivors refused to be silent. But perhaps their greatest achievement isn't legislative. It's proving that youth voices matter, that tragedy doesn't have to define you, that one person's courage can inspire millions to action. This isn't just Emma's story, it's a challenge to you. When injustice stares you in the face, will you look away? When systems seem too big to change, will you accept defeat? Emma González showed us that sometimes the most powerful response isn't shouting louder, but standing firm in your truth, even if that truth is expressed through silence. The next time you think your voice doesn't matter, remember the shy teenager who turned grief into action. Remember that change doesn't require perfection, it requires persistence. Remember that 6 minutes and 20 seconds of silence can speak louder than any speech. What will you say when your moment comes? More importantly, what will you do? Because here's the truth Emma González taught us. Your voice gains power not from its volume, but from its conviction. The question isn't whether you can change the world. The question is whether you'll have the courage to try. On the next episode of Goddesses, imagine if the fight for change had another face, another voice, one that echoed through an entirely different era. What if I told you, after witnessing Emma's unyielding pursuit of gun reform, there's another iconoclast who shattered norms and reshaped society? Next week, we delve into a world where women's empowerment was just a whisper in the wind, but one woman dared to scream it from the rooftops. Tune in to discover how Gloria Steinem turned her personal struggles into a global movement, proving that every voice matters in shaping our future. Don't miss this story of courage and resilience as we explore the theme of iconoclasts and system shakers. Please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code, or follow the pinned link to get our free 7-day email course, Be an Unstoppable Woman. 7 days, 7 iconic women. Master the art of quiet power, lead without apology, and turn femininity into your greatest weapon. Click the video that just popped up to watch the next one in this series. Or for episode summaries, behind-the-scenes info, and more, go to daily8.com/god. Thanks for watching.